Hi guys, it's Melissa with Tilted K Homestead. Today I decided that I was going to make some apple pie filling and thought you guys would like to join me. And my recipes have been coming from Ball's book. There's a lot of good recipes in here. Some of them are really easy. Some of them you really have to pay attention to with measuring. But again, this is the apple pie filling that's in this book. This recipe calls for 12 cups of apples. So I'm gonna get going on cutting up and peeling and coring my apples. It's a little different than making applesauce because I had started these earlier, but these apples need to be wedged. So when you're making apple pie filling, we wedge them instead of actually cutting them into small little chunks because you're going to puree it anyway. Okay, so I'm going to get cutting on my apples so I can get those ready. Behind me you can see that I still have quite a bit of apples from when we had gone apple picking. So let's get going on those apples. Alright, so the other thing I forgot to mention is that when I'm peeling my apples, I'm putting them in a water bath with lemon juice so that my apples don't go brown before I actually get to preserve them. So that's what they're sitting in. So I'm going to continue getting my apples and then we'll get on to the next step. Alright, so I finally have all of my apples cut up and in my bowl here. These apples are all a mixture. So there's Macoons, there's Red Delicious, and there's also some Cortlands in here too. So I figured with the different kinds of apples it'll give it a different kind of flavor. I also have my pan of hot boiling water going. So we have to measure out these apples at 6 cups a batch so that we can blanch them for 1 minute. So I'm gonna get those measured out and I'll give you guys a better look at that. Let's see, let's get my measuring cup and we're gonna measure out 6 cups of apples here. We're going to get those in the water and we're going to let those blanch for 1 minute. So once those are blanched, I'm going to take them out with a slotted spoon and then I'm going to put them in a bowl so that they can stay warm so that I can get the syrup going. This is the first batch that I'm putting in here, so I still need to do another 6 cups, but I will show you that process when I get there. Alright guys, this is my second batch of apples that I've put in the pan. Those needed to blanch for 1 minute, and now I'm going to take them out so that I could put them in a bowl to stay warm so that I can make my syrup. Alright, so here we are and we're ready to make our liquid that goes into the pie filling. So it's more like a syrup, but it's really thick. We end up using clear gel with this. So it calls for 1 1/4 cups of water, 2 3/4 cups of sugar, and then we have cinnamon. So it's 1 1/2 teaspoons of cinnamon, 1 1/2, nutmeg. The nutmeg is 1/2 teaspoon, 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg. Alright, then it calls for 2 1/2 cups of apple juice. Then we have a half a cup of lemon juice. Ooh, we're running really close on that lemon juice. Alright. So then we add 3/4 of a cup of clear gel. Put in there. Three-fourths of a cup of clear gel. And then we're going to get this on the heat. This needs to come to a boil, and according to the book it says bring to a boil until it begins to thicken and bubble. So that's what we're working for right now. So let's get this on the heat. Alright, and I've also already gotten my jars in my canner, so that they can be warm for when the apple pie filling is ready, and then I can put it in the jars to get ready to can and process. Alright guys, so this is what this liquid looks like now. It's starting to get thick, and now I'm going to turn off the heat so that I can fold in my apples. Now my apples have been in a bowl sitting off to the side. They're still pretty warm. I had them covered. So I'm going to drop in my apples and then fold them into the syrup mixture. Alright, so that's pretty much what it looks like right now. I need to turn this heat back on and bring it back up to a boil before I can start actually putting it in my jars to can. So I'm going to do that now. Get that back up there. Alright, so my apples are finally heated through all the way, and they are ready to go into the jars. So I'm going to pull out my jars right now so that we can get ready to put them in and can them up. This recipe actually makes 7 quart-size jars, but my canner pot only holds 4 jars, quart-size jars at a time. So I'm going to have to process these in batches too. Let's give you guys a better look. Here we go. After reading the recipe all the way through, it says to make sure that you have at least a 1/2 inch of head space. So we're going to add a little bit more in there. Check our head space. That looks about right. Alright, so now we're going to wipe off the rim. So we got a nice clean seal, new lid, ring, finger tight, and then we're going to get these back into our canner pot. So I'm going to finish filling up my jars here so I can get this first batch processed. Okay, so I have my first set of jars in the canner. So let's take a look at those. Okay, those need to process for 20 minutes. So I'm going to set my timer. Actually, correction, those need to process for 25 minutes. So I'm going to set my timer here for 25 minutes. And then I will give you a look at what those look like when we get back. Okay, my jars have processed for 25 minutes and they've been sitting for 5 minutes with the heat off. So I'm going to take them out and let you guys look at those. Alright, so in this batch I ended up with 4 quart-sized jars. I have 1 more quart-sized jar to process. So I am going to get my last jar in there, turn my heat back on, but I also have to add some more water to my pot because we have to make sure that the water covers the jar, and right now it's not. Okay, so I've added my water to my pot, so this can start boiling again and I can get that other jar processed. But let's take a look at these jars. That is that. I'm going to let that one finish processing. I got to get it up to a boil. But I just wanted to take the time to thank you guys so much for joining me today. It was a fun time making apple pie filling. It's one of my favorite recipes from this book. But again, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you have subscribed, thank you so much. It does really help us out a lot. Also, if you're enjoying our videos, please share them with all your friends and family on any of your social media pages. Alright guys, thanks again, and I will catch you on the next one. Have a great day. Bye.